Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Matwichuk, and the purpose of today's intermittent reinforcement email message is to talk to you about the process of disputing. Now, when people come into REBT, they expect to learn new ideas because REBT is a collection of very useful ideas like unconditional self-acceptance, unconditional other acceptance, unconditional life acceptance, uncertainty tolerance, and others. However, what we also teach in REBT as a primary change process is what we call the process of disputing. We encourage people to learn how to step back, identify attitudes that are at the core of their emotional disturbance, and then to challenge them. I think that we want people to learn at least two challenging disputes. One dispute is to examine the functional impact our rigid and extreme attitudes have on our emotional and behavioral responses. And the other line of questioning that we want to teach people to use is to seek evidence that supports their rigid and extreme attitudes, and when they can't find evidence, to see that rigid and extreme attitudes cannot be supported by the available data and therefore are in fact untrue. Then we encourage people to learn to transform their rigid attitudes into flexible ideas, such as I want to do well, but I don't absolutely have to do so. And then to do the same process of examining the impact that idea has on their functioning and to look for the evidence that may in fact support it. Finally, we want people to learn to step back and think about any doubts, objections, and reservations they may have to holding a flexible and non-extreme attitude. Lastly, we want people to rehearse that attitude. These steps are crucial, and it seems to me people resist doing this reflection disputation process. I think it takes a certain amount of energy, but nevertheless, it's a very important skill to learn, and that's essentially what we do during our sessions. Yes, we may do some problem solving and help the patient think of new ways of changing external situations, but the core of REBT is about teaching people how to identify, refute, and replace their rigid and extreme attitudes. Most importantly, we want them to then act upon those attitudes, live in harmony with them. So study today's intermittent reinforcement email message and print it out. And then each day, try to take a few minutes to sit down and to think about the rigid and extreme attitudes that undermine your emotional well-being. And then do this process that I outlined in today's intermittent reinforcement email. And you will see that if you do it most days, in time, you'll learn how to challenge and dispute your rigid and extreme attitudes and build conviction in your healthy and flexible non-extreme attitudes. I'd also like to remind you to attend my Saturday morning Zoom conversation hour. Each week, I take a volunteer and I go through this very process that is outlined in today's email. So it's a great way for you to learn and see how the process is done. It's at 9 a.m. Eastern, which is 2 p.m. in the UK, 5 p.m. in Moscow, and I think that's 6:30 in India. No, it's 7:30. I'm sorry, 7:30 in India. And if you write to me at rebtdoctor@gmail.com, I'll be happy to send your Zoom invitation to attend. It's held every Saturday. It's a great learning experience for both people in therapy, for people looking to learn how to do REBT as a professional. And finally, it's great for just anyone who wishes to learn to do REBT on themselves. So I hope to see you on Saturday.